So today we talk about the current box office numbers. And yeah, there isn't really anything really that interesting or unique. Actually, there is something interesting. Halloween Kills just came out. It beat out No Time to Die was released last week. It was the lone new release of last week. And why I'm saying not really interesting, there's only 6 movies to talk about. Yep, 6 movies. Yeah, you can talk about Jungle Cruise and Final the Boss Baby releases in like the UK and stuff. But number one movie of the week is Halloween Kills. This movie is doing really well despite having a day-to-day streaming thing. Yeah, this movie's doing really well despite the day-to-day streaming thing. And it says Halloween 2017, Halloween Kills. I looked up Halloween Kills budget, and its budget is 20 million. So this movie is automatically a success. And Halloween always does well in America. This movie will pass 100 million domestically. That's guaranteed for sure. But it only has 3 weeks to really do well because it's a movie that is about that revolves around the holiday. And of course, the best comparison is between the 2017 Halloween. That movie opened to 36 million, only opened to 159 million, basically, because after Halloween week, basically, the movie kind of just died off, essentially. And that's how this movie's gonna probably play out as well. It's gonna probably end up grossing 110 or 120 million domestically, which is pretty good, but yeah, it's not gonna be doing as well as, Dune. We don't know how well Dune will do, but it's not gonna do as well as, The Eternals was gonna gross 100 million first week. Or, it's not gonna have rigs like No Time to Die will, which is having pretty rigs. It's performing like an average movie. No Time to Die will probably end up around 150 million domestically. I think it's gonna probably end up around. And next is No Time to Die. This movie is currently at 447 million. It is time to slow down the international box office, which is a big warning sign for this movie. Last time was like 307 million, so it's doing really well internationally, but in America, it seems that people in America just don't care for James Bond anymore. They just don't give a shit about James Bond. And if we compare it to the other James Bond movies, this movie is performing worse than Spectre and Skyfall. Again, Spectre performed worse than Skyfall. No Time to Die performed worse than Spectre. No James Bond movie, this might be the worst doing James Bond movie since Quantum of Solace and Casino Royale. It's going to probably end up around 600 to 650 million. Someone said that it needs, they said, it needs $900 million break even. It's not going to reach 900 million. But it's not going to be a massive failure either. Despite what the Phantom Menace wants, it is performing similar to Casino Royale and Die Another Day. It's performing similar to those two movies. So likely end up around domestically similar to Die Another Day, which came out in 2002, which is just hilarious as a whole. And also there is still, the pandemic is not really there anymore, but it's still there because a lot of people don't want to take the, poke, as people say. People don't 43% of people still don't want to take the poke. And yeah, that's, there. And a lot of older people still don't want to see movies. So James Bond is another movie that is really more geared towards older people. And that's probably why it's doing really well in Europe. It also has not released in China yet, which has a China release date. And it also hasn't released, I think, in Japan and like Brazil, I think, as well. Where it's, next is Venom. Venom has passed 100 million worldwide, 200 million, and has made 43 million internationally. This movie isn't really performing that well internationally. This movie is going to make money at the end of the day. It has made 168 million worldwide, essentially. And we can make the comparison between Shang-Chi, which again, Phantom Menace said would flop, but Shang-Chi is performing better than Venom, despite Venom having a bigger opening. It is performing on par of Black Widow, which is a movie that the Phantom Menace hates and despises. Okay, it is performing similar to that movie, basically. It is performing similar to Black Widow, though. But how much will it beat Black Widow is the real question. Again, Black Widow made 183 million at the domestic box office. It's pretty good for that movie, and is performing similar to Shang-Chi. Actually, it's not performing similar to Black Widow, but Shang-Chi had good legs at the domestic box office compared to Venom, where it's performing abysmally legs-wise for the domestic box office. And Free Guy is still in the list, I think, of the best-selling movies of the year. 120 million domestically. And A Quiet Place Part 2, which came out a long time ago. And this is all the highest domestic openers of the year. Free Guy is the lowest of them all, and is gonna probably be passed by No Time to Die next week. Despite having the most theatrical engagements, according to this list, it seems that movies like Venom Venom did make more money than Free Guy. So yeah, this is the box office currently updated for all the big movies. Venom is not really doing too well internationally. And yeah, the box office probably doesn't have the numbers updated now. They never do. So basically, yeah, they never really have the numbers updated. They have last week's numbers updated, of course, but not this week's. So, and next week we have like Gone Wrong is gonna flop, and Dune is gonna probably do pretty well. Well, Ron's Gone Wrong is a Disney property, so Disney's gonna try to promote it on every platform possible, and no one's gonna watch it still. Next is The Addams Family 2, which is having good legs because it's a Halloween movie. People didn't really like the first one. It's not really doing as well as number one, but it's still likely gonna make money at the end, which is gonna prompt them to make a third movie, which will be just hilarious to see at a whole. So, and yeah, this is the one animated movie series that people just don't like. People don't care about, evident by the YouTube video that I released about this movie. No one really cares about Addams Family 2. It is not really doing too well domestically, essentially. It is not really doing too well internationally, so... Next is The Last Duel, which is a big, laughable flop by Disney. This is another Disney movie. Yep, this is made by 20th Century Fox, and it's another flop for Disney. Yep, another failure for Disney. Disney's like, oh my god, Free Guy was so successful. They'll automatically make a sequel to Free Guy. And they'll probably make a sequel to Shang-Chi, because those are the only two movies that really were profitable. Black Widow and Jungle Cruise are in the gray area. Black Widow has a lawsuit, and Disney said, okay, let's just make a Jungle Cruise sequel, even though no one watched the movie, essentially, compared to our other movies. Yeah, The Last Duel is another flop by Disney. Disney's gonna lose money big time, essentially, on, Last Duel. I don't know the budget for this movie. I can look it up. The Last Duel budget. So The Last Duel has no budget. It has no budget currently, but it has basically created in the box office. So we don't know the budget for The Last Duel yet, but it's probably pretty big. So it's probably a flop for Disney. Next is Shang-Chi. It has made $405 million. Again, this movie was supposed to be a flop if you listen to the Fandom Menace. If you listen to the Fandom Menace, this movie was going to fail. I said this movie was going to fail because they wouldn't get the time, because again, this movie wouldn't be allowed to be played in China. So, and, they made Shang-Chi to, make money in China like Mulan. And of course, I was wrong about that, essentially. And, yep, Shang-Chi made $405 million worldwide, but the Phantom Menace was, at first, trying to spin it into, oh, but we'll have bad wigs like Black Widow, but they kept failing, they kept losing against Shang-Chi. I can't wait till the Eternals comes out to see how well that movie does, or poorly, however performs. And Shang-Chi is just another success for Dale. And the rest of the movie is like Dear Evan Hansen dropped another 60%. Nobody wants to see this movie. I was completely correct about Dear Evan Hansen. No one wants to see this movie. Okay, I said before this movie came out, this movie's gonna bomb. This movie's gonna flop. No one's gonna watch it. I won't be surprised if this movie becomes a cult classic because a lot of people say, "Oh, it's so amazing." Dear Evan Hansen's so amazing. But again, no one's watching it. The fact that it's performing far worse than Cats can really tell you about Dear Evan Hansen. It's performing worse than Cats. Cats ended at a 28 million domestic box office. Okay, I think really Cats put a sour taste in people's mouths about musicals. I think musicals are gonna take a couple years to recover from Cats. Next is Candyman. It's basically nearing the end of its run, and Free Guy, another movie that is basically nearing the end of its run as well, with 120 million domestically. It performed very well for a Wild Wales movie, basically, because if you look at his movies, you know, it doesn't really so. Yeah, Wild Wales movies. If you look at his movies, Wild Wales movies have really increased in popularity since the release of Deadpool. Pool. And you look at it, yeah, Wild Wales has definitely increased in popularity. Yeah, he had a flop earlier called Hitman's Life's Bodyguard, but he was in Pokemon, Deadpool, Hitman's Bodyguard. His movies are mostly usually successful after the movie Deadpool. He has been in a lot of movies before that, but Deadpool was a really movie that made him into the big actor that he is now. He was in the flop called Wife. He was in Cruise, New Age, and some other movies as well. And yeah, that's basically about this video. Goodbye.